Two-tone and L-E-L-N-E-S-S-N. Yes, we are the very best.
$7 popping collars, eating shrimp. $5 met some girls from Guatemala, now they trying to holler.
Now before they wouldn't bother, now I'm trying to be a scholar, cause she giving all the knowledge to me.
Knowledge to me.
Doing her work every night of the week.
Night of the week.
Like she chillin' up at college with me.
College relief, but we cruising, man. Rolling up at 4:30. Kush same color as a Kobe Road jersey, or a throwback worthy. Giraffe ass high, fresh breeze just passing us by. Cause I'm cruising on a Sunday afternoon. I got my good shoes on, ain't got no bad news. Here's what you say to the lady. Let me squeeze you, oh, let me hold you, oh, let me squeeze you, oh, let me hold you. Why? Cause I don't wanna leave this party, baby, without you. What you waiting for? Hop in the ride.
Okay.
What you waiting for? Hop in the ride. So I arrive at a party at 9. I reside beside Sim, think we fly, time's on our side. But look again, then it's 11 p.m. Chalk it on the board, time to sin, let's begin. Hey, you're kinda cute, and I got the loot to befriend both you and your girlfriend too.
You single Tim Jones?
Well, that depends. Just then she turned to a friend and she said,
I really like him.
say word.
I really like him.
Oh yeah.
I really, 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 really like.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to JCT TV. As an opening, I want to give a great big shout out and extend my graces to Sky 13 for opening up the door so we can come in and do what we do, Eminem or the other platforms. We want to thank Big Al, Chief Engineer, making all this magic happen. And I want to thank my returning co-host from the few today, none other than JDX. JDX, how are you today?
Always a blessing. To
Always a pleasure,
Always
brother.
a
Because the
pleasure.
energy is always there, and it actually elevates and builds so that we can relate the message that we came out to actually relay. And most of the time, we don't know what that message is going to be, but we do our best to cover it the best that we possibly can through the power of the Spirit. But with that being said, existentialism and dedication is our actual platform today, and we're looking forward to delivering something special. We have some special guests in the house today. We have Ms. Jackson, the running mayor for Waterbury. We have Pate in the house today, or Miss Pat as she loves to be called, and we're going to see what these spectacular women have on the cap to actually make things do what they do for you, you, and you. With that being said, I'm going to throw the subject matter directly into the lap of JDX and see what he has to bring forth on existentialism.
Yes, sir. Today, perhaps existentialism is an amazing word. And when I look for the definition of it and I think of it, it all talks about you and the power of that person that you are, the will of manifesting, which comes to the basic foundation, purpose.
Okay.
What is your purpose underneath that sun? Or you as an individual person.
Okay.
Because individually we are all persons on. And to find that purpose in you, to call it into existence.
Okay.
What you came on this earth to manifest is to be seen in the will that is inside of you as that person, to bring it into reality.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
when I thought about it and I look inside of it, I had to ask myself this. They have this verse that says, many of the plans that in a man's heart, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will prevail in the end. And so even we have all those plans and all those ideas and all those dreams. If it's not in harmony with the purpose that the Creator himself had for you to follow the roadmap of that life, it will never come true in reality. And what we need to see by calling into the will, into existence, to manifest what's inside of you, have to be in accordance with the will and the purpose of the great architect of this universe.
Wow. 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 You studied that and laid it on your heart to study it rather deeply, because that's a mouthful, what you said. and you got down to the nitty-gritty. And when I say got down to the nitty-gritty, I'm talking about you got down to the bottom line of existentialism. Because when you talk about purpose, which is the governing term of today, and when I say today, I'm talking about all mankind. Purpose. Without purpose, you're like a ship drifting without a course.
True.
That means that you're heading for eventual total disaster if you don't have a course. And without a course, it's impossible to have a purpose. And if you don't have a purpose, that means you need not exist. That's the truth. Bottom line, animal, we're all animals, mankind animal, and so forth. And mankind animal is the worst kind of animal that there is because we're the most intellectual animal.
And what has caused us to go so far away from the cost, knowing that, look at the world we are living today, perhaps. The leaders we have in power, we see they are leaders. That's so-called leaders we have. Look at the world and the trend that the world is going. Do you think that was the purpose, as I was saying, the grand architect? Because I don't see the plan of the grand architect in that.
In this current design.
In that current design.
You know, it's amazing because when you talk about the grand architect of the universe, and you know that his plan is the perfect plan, and he gave it to you laid out in wherever your region was, whether he gave you the Bible, the original Bible, not these new versions, right? And the Quran and the Torah, and then the Book of Mormon came later. But these are words designed in perfect format. It says in the beginning was the Word was God, the Word was with God. That means that the more words that you absorb, the closer you come to that God. Because that's what he is, the Word. So you have to learn to govern your life in accordance to words. We come to this table today with two key words, existentialism and dedication.
And dedication.
You've dedicated yourself to getting here, first of all, right? To observing the basic foundations of the understanding and definitions of the term existentialism. So the thing is, you have to take dedication to a whole nother level. You have to take it to the level of purpose.
And that is all the foundation
yes,
of it is.
Because what I gathered from what you said, opening up the platform, two words came to my mind. One of them was collaboration. Collaboration and corroboration, right? So the thing is that these means that this is something that's in accordance. It tells you that if a man takes on a woman or a woman takes on a man, make sure that you're equally yoked. If you're not equally yoked, then you'll go ahead and for division. That's why divorce is so rampant.
And there
today.
will always be confusion and disorder in the home.
Indeed. Indeed.
And that is what I was saying. Many other plans in a man's heart. Everybody wants to be a leader.
Yes, sir.
But do their plans go up? Because you say many other plans in a man's heart, but the purpose of the Lord
Indeed.
is.
Indeed.
So if that desire you have is to manifest yourself and not the purpose that was supposed to be that was designed for the reality of life to become that balance that we're looking for, there will always be disorder.
Now you're hitting those terms because where there is no order, there's chaos. In the very prayer for those people that believe in the Christ, when it says that there be on earth as it is in heaven, you're asking for order. Where the sun, the moon, and the stars reside, they want man, woman, and child to be that same basis here on the foundations of the earth, right? Now, the thing is, if you want order, you have to know the original purpose of a thing. If I plant a orange seed,
You expect orange.
I expect oranges. If I plant a peach seed and I expect plums, then something about my thought in the very essence of the beginning of the idea is foolish.
That's a fact.
Because every seed can only manifest itself. And what we're seeing in these days is a manifestation of the seeds of everyone and who they really are.
And it's such a reality that you don't even have to ask the question who that person is because they manifest themselves right in front of you.
And with that being said, I have to my right, your left out there in TV land, the beautiful Lady Pat. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
Beautiful, beautiful. I welcome you aboard, and I hope that we can continue this subject matter.
Yes.
I know that when I and JDX left off, we were at a very, very, very sensitive point. And I think the transition will probably hit the scope of the matter a whole lot harder with you being aboard. And I just want to start from there, and then we'll go and cover it as you see existentialism and dedication. But I want to know about that binary thing, about this, what I am, what I believe I am. And I'm a firm believer in affirmation, visualization, and the whole 9 yards of success, prosperity, and abundance.
Yes.
But the thing is that when you're talking about a fact that is, what is, right? And if you think that you can change that, then there's something wrong, right? Because we're not talking about just the governing of this society since one particular person or species or race has been governing it. But we're talking about millions of years since man has existed and walked and ruled on this earth.
Right.
And I want to ask you this. What do you think, because you were in the listening audience at the time, about this binary situation that they had, the congressional meeting, and they were saying that they believe that they are women and they are women and that they have a menstrual cycle. And can you explain something to me that as you see it, because maybe I'm not definitely have an understanding.
Their mental state is obviously somewhere else, you know,
Okay.
and evidently now what we're dealing with is people that unfortunately they don't know who they are. You get what I'm saying? So if you don't know who you are, then that's going to distract you from finding your purpose. You know?
So
now if you're telling me that you're a male
Yeah.
and you're having a menstrual cycle, but you know that this is not biologically possible.
There you go.
And you're telling me that, okay, well now I need a tampon.
Yes.
In the male's bathroom, in the male's public bathroom?
Yes.
Okay, so then you have to wonder now, what is going on with their mental state?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? What is going on in their head? Why do you feel that way, that you are a female even though you are a natural born male?
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So you have to wonder what is going on with society, period. Is it the propaganda that they're putting out there? You know what I'm saying? Is it not only that, whoever that they're running around in society, are they just as lost as those that think, okay, well, I'm a natural born male, but I believe that I'm a female or I want to be a female, so I need a tampon because I have an imaginary menstrual cycle.
But let me say this. This is a bunch of youth, the youth that they felt most qualified to represent youth in the congressional meeting, right? That said it's their time to lead because the old way of leadership has failed.
The old way of leadership has, you know what, you're right, the old way of leadership has failed and it continues to fail. Because what's going on with these leaders? What's going on with these leaders? The leaders themselves also don't know who they are. And you have to wonder, do they even really know what is going on here in corporate America? America is not even being run as what we would call a country, better yet, a nation. It hasn't been a nation since roughly about 1871.
Okay.
Okay? So it's actually a corporation. America is a corporation. It's
Okay.
a business. Everything in America is running on commerce.
Okay.
Okay?
And now we're in e-commerce.
And now we're in e-commerce. Exactly.
Indeed.
That's exactly what it is. Now,
Do me a favor. I want you to go back because you lost a lot of people at 1871.
okay, so
And
then
I
I'm
want
going
you
to
to bring
jump right
us,
back.
yeah, I want you to bring us up to date. Tell them about that existence and foundation and formulation of 1871 all the way
Okay,
through to
because you see
2023.
what happens is the original Constitution for we the people, that was actually implemented roughly around 1789, all right? But now in 1871, they came out with a chartered constitution. So this, if you look at the Constitution from 1789, okay, you have the Constitution of the United States
Okay.
of America, then you have the Constitution for the United States of America. They're two different things.
Can you break that down a little bit? Explain it.
Okay,
Elaborate.
so you have the Constitution for the United States of America, and that more deals with a de jure form of government, all right? Now, when we get into existentialism, now I can give you a definition. You want to find your purpose, and you want freedom, because you want to be a living being, free, right?
Indeed.
But guess what? Constitution of 1871 came through, and it made you a 14th Amendment citizen. So this is when now your rights were traded for privileges. So they stripped you of your rights, and they gave you privileges. Why? Because they made you a citizen on their ship. That's what citizen is, citizen on their ship. They docked their ship on your land. But what did you do? You went and you got on the ship. And what was the conditions of this now? We're going to take your rights away from you. Not only your rights, but your assets, your birthright inheritance. Strip it right away from underneath you. That's what the Constitution of 1871 did. So guess what now? This is when you're no longer classified as a people. And what are people? Principal executive officers per laws eternal, right? But the Constitution of 1871 now is a charter. So it's a derivative of the Constitution of 1789. So now, when I say they turned you into a person,
Okay.
you have to look up the meaning of person in the law
Let
dictionary.
me ask you this, because this, I believe, is key for our listeners and our viewers. What is the difference in a right and a privilege?
Well, you have your inalienable rights, right? Which is in the Constitution right there.
Yes.
They can't be stripped away from you. But now, let me see. I have the right to travel.
Okay.
But you told me go get a license because you gave me the right to drive. But only problem with that is that I'm not operating on the roads in commerce for hire. I'm not driving for compensation. So therefore, I'm a traveler. And as a traveler, you're supposed to travel free and unencumbered. But like I said, now we go back to the Constitution of 1871, where you died. You have two forms of death. Okay. And this is in the law dictionaries as well. As far as you can check Bouvier's, you can check Valentine's, you can check Black laws, you can check Anderson's, okay? You have civil death and you have natural death. So civil death means that I have no status in society whatsoever. It's all been stripped away from me. Whereas you have natural death, which is I died from natural causes. So now, Constitution of 1871, when they came out with the 14th Amendment, citizen, and turned your rights into privileges, you are rendered civilly dead. So now, you have a complete loss of civil status now. You have no standing in the civil world, okay? So you're completely dead. So this is where you're classified as a person. How are you classified as a person? It gets deeper. Why? Because they have something which is called an ens legis. Now, an ens legis is a creature of law, where man is a creature of reason. Now, this ens legis only exists on the paper, okay? So now I can get into what I'm meaning when I say to you that they stripped all your assets away from you, right? And they took away your rights. Guess what? They incorporated you.
Indeed.
Because your name has now been incorporated.
And that's why a lot of people today are attempting, they're talking about it, but you don't see anyone moving on it too tough, talking about purchasing back their freedom, their rights, their name, that social security number. Now, let me ask you something about the maritime, right?
Yes.
The maritime law.
Yes.
Right? We have like 2 minutes left, unfortunately, for today, but we definitely got to come back and we got to get you up here
We
on
shall.
a more extended period.
We
right?
shall.
I want you just to run through maritime, hopefully in 60 seconds, as rapidly as you can.
Yes. Okay, so maritime law, this is what they will call now admiralty jurisdiction, where that's where they're running the de facto government, because you have the de facto government where they want to have control over you because they said that they took your rights and stripped it away, all right? But maritime law, admiralty jurisdiction, that's the law of the sea, not the law of the land.
That's exactly.
Okay? And it has nothing to do with God's laws.
Exactly.
Okay? And like I said, that's underneath the de facto government. So now when we're underneath the de jure of government, think about the de jure government as heaven on earth. Okay? So now we're not necessarily dealing with maritime law, admiralty jurisdiction, mercantile law, none of that, which is what they're using in commerce. We're dealing with now in the de jure, the republic, and that's our heaven on earth, right? So now we can get deeper into the social injustice number, the social security number, and how to get up out the system, and we can have our heaven. Our heaven is right here on earth.
Well, that's the only place that the mind, the body, and the soul actually combine into one entity. What can be greater? Gentlemen, we are back. Wow, what a day we are having here on this platform. A lot of balance of power being reestablished in the universe, so it will come to be on earth soon, because as it is in heaven, it shall be on earth, one way or the other, or vice versa. But with that being said, we promised you the Councilwoman Karen Jackson, now running for mayor in Waterbury, Connecticut. Karen,
Nice to meet you.
welcome
Huh?
aboard.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You know, it's a pleasure. We was having a little chit chat as we transferred our talents up here today.
Yes.
And we were talking about quite a few issues in such a short time.
Yes.
We have limited time here on this platform today, but what I want to do is ask you out the gate, how do you think that you would be able to make an impact as mayor in Waterbury?
One of the first things I'm going to do is eradicate homelessness in Waterbury.
Okay.
The current population, I will build tiny homes. We have enough land for that. The state of Connecticut has legalized that, say, if you own a home, your garage can be turned into an apartment. So a she shed now is legal, so you can have people in she sheds, one bedroom tiny homes, and they cost less than $300 to build. And we would have grants. Nothing will be at cost to the city at all. And then after they're there for 2 years, it's a transitional place. Then they go to permanent housing. So their rent won't be more than $500 a month, depending on if they get a 2-bedroom tiny house, 1-bedroom tiny house, or a 3-bedroom tiny house. I'm also going to create a home ownership tiny home program, so people can own their own homes.
Okay.
So that's one of the impacts that I'm going to do.
Okay, let me ask you this, because you hit the nail on the head. You came out the gate and you said to me, not only this is what I'm going to do, but this is how I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And you also spoke of one of the key factors, because this is a capitalistic and imperialistic system, and it's based on the foundation of money, right? And you explained how it wouldn't affect the city itself, actually preparing for people to have homes.
Exactly. It'll be a self-contained village, meaning that electricity, wastewater, everything will be controlled, will be self-contained. And then I'll have passive income by having those electrical cars now charging at stations right there. So they will have their own income. And it'll be a self-governed place where they will have to participate in a democratic process of that village.
Let me ask you this, because that there is kind of deep, and I want to cover a couple of areas besides that there. Did you come up with this concept on your own, or do you belong to an organization that actually assisted in this idea? I
came up with the concept on my own when I was a city councilwoman in Bridgeport. I tried to do it there, but it was not successful. So I knew that from the successes, there are 2 places in Connecticut that has them, Norwich and Madison, but there are several all over the country, and they have success.
Let me ask you this. With our limited time, I hope to have you back before the election. I'm not sure if we have a show prior to that, but let me ask you this. I want you to give me 3. Besides that point there, you don't need to explain them right away. I'll pick the one I want you to explain.
Okay.
Tell me 3 other things you would do differently from the way the city is being ran now.
One of the things is that I'm going to create municipal water. Waterbury is on top of a mountain, and we have natural springs. That natural spring can be our water, and then we can use the power of that water and lower our electrical bill, sell the surplus as profit, and then the buses can be free.
Okay, so tell me the next thing.
The third thing now is education. I'm going to pay the children to go to school from 7th grade up. If I have to give up half my salary to do that, it's $50 per aid that you get in school. So the program that they currently have is only for the Holy Cross. It's not for our public school students. So even though they're listed, the majority of people who benefit from it is Holy Cross. It's called Waterbury Promise, where they pay students to get A's also, but it'll go straight towards our public school students.
Tell me the third one.
I thought I just did.
You told me the 3?
I told you
Besides your original one that
Yes.
you addressed.
Okay, another one. One of the things that I plan to implement is the STEM program, the they have to learn a language before they leave high school, and put back
A second language.
a second language, pardon me,
Okay.
and put in cursive, as well as build a tiny teachers village to bring in more teachers of color, so they have a place to live, so they can teach our children at the same time.
So let me ask you this: how did penmanship get taken out of the school system, and how come?
Because they want to control our children's mind with the phone and the computer. You're not handwriting anymore. You're just typing.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to get them in that robot mind frame. The word educate means to bring out. So you're not bringing the etymology of it. So you're not bringing anything out. All you're doing is creating robots, unthinking robots.
So the AI robots think more than the human actually does,
They're built to.
and they're functional.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this, because you did mention STEM, and now we're going to go into reverse, and I'm going to have you just elaborate a little bit more on some of these things. STEM system, what is that?
STEM is math, science, physical science, engineering, coding. So all these things are in STEM, depending on what your concentration is. And so we will build that child up to have math, engineering. I forgot what the third one is. The math, engineering, physical science, biology. Not biology, chemistry.
Chemistry.
So
okay.
all these
Very
things
important.
are STEM. Yes.
Let me ask you this: why is it that coding has become so important, and everybody else is coding, but we're not coding?
It's separation and divide. The more you uneducate our children, the more uneducated, unthinking slaves you have. The more labor workforce you have.
Okay. I mean, I have to mention this because I want to see what your concept on it is. Make America Great Again. Does that mean free labor? Back to free labor?
Yes.
Or is it something else?
It's back to, if you want to call it free labor, it's back to the white way of doing things.
Okay.
If you get my...
Yes. Now, let me ask you this. In the day and time, you just saw Hamas get fed up to the point that they attacked the Jewish, so-called Jewish empire in Israel, right? We're here living here on the shores where people are faced with mental issues, so-called, because of those things that you said that has been taken away from them, right? And they've been guided down another lane. So the thing is, to avoid that here, what would be your suggestion, not to just the administrations, but to the people that are being governed and controlled?
Well, the Palestinians are under apartheid rule. Hamas, this is going to be controversial. I listened to a show called Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman and Juan Gonzalez. And back in 2013, I remember a video where Ariel Sharon, I quote, says Hamas is a creature of Israel. So when they say Hamas did whatever Hamas did, then think about who controls Hamas and who created that creature. So that propaganda that they're saying.
So that's the key word, propaganda.
Yes, the Khazar propaganda, because they're not original Jews. They're what's the proper word? They're
not the European Jews, because they
Khazars.
Okay.
Khazar Jews, yes.
All right. With that being said, quickly, because we're down to the final 2 minutes here.
Okay.
I want you to go back to that water process and elaborate for 60 seconds and tell me how you're going to improve or make that work.
Japan, I got the idea from Japan has a tidal flow. They use their water, the power of the water, to create electricity and bring your electricity down. So we don't have to use another energy source to power our electricity.
Okay.
We can use the power of the spring that we have naturally ourselves.
I heard something about that being done over in Africa.
Yes, I'm sure. It can be done anywhere. That's the point. It can be done anywhere, and moreover, at the end of it, the buses will be free because the electricity bill will come down.
Okay.
And the surplus again will be sold back to the electricity company as profit.
Okay, not this Monday. I think it was the past Monday that they had a meeting on free busing at the church downtown. Were you there?
No.
No? Okay. I look forward to seeing you in some of the places that you're going to be moving forward. And like I said, we're going to actually do another show or whatever by some means.
I say, undercovers on the strip. I say,